Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary as Magic stream on today's Sunday, March 8th, 2020. I am, as always, Thorax Fan 88. Wait. No, that's Aura. I'm Grandpa. Yeah.
Bigcheese.
Spike has a crush on Rarity.
Spoilers.
We'll talk about those later, though.
Can we even have spoilers anymore?
I mean, we could. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's still in testing.
I got some Pony Life spoilers.
No.
I enjoy how both of us are just instantly like, no. And Cheese is just kind of sitting there watching the catastrophe unfold.
Basically.
All right.
It has been an interesting couple of weeks. It has been a CCG-filled couple of weeks, or at least couple of weekends, all around the world.
Yes, it has. No.
No?
No spontaneous singing.
But
At least pick a good song.
this is Daft Punk, it's fine.
Marginal. Anyway.
Fine. We have seen a large number of results from stores and playgroups all around not only the United States, but also some of our international players as well. In core formats, in harmony formats,
In
Popper.
regular and Popper.
Yeah.
So it's been rather diverse, and there's been a ton of players and a ton of results. Speaking of results, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, you told me I couldn't break into spontaneous song, which is a shame because I just thought of the perfect one for this discussion.
Okay.
Do you like Coldplay?
I'm not familiar with their lineup.
They have a song called Yellow.
You could also use any song from the band Yellow Card.
That's even better, actually.
I mean, we go with an old classic and get like the Beatles, Yellow Submarine.
Okay, sure.
Because it's been hiding underwater and
It breached the surface.
yeah. And
But were there any tree huggers in the decks though?
I don't know.
That's a good point. Tree
I
Hugger
don't
would be the
think
appropriate
so.
fit there. People in chat, throw some other suggestions for yellow-themed or titled songs or bands while we go through some of these deck lists here.
We're gonna need them. Anyway, so
They
what are we
call me
doing?
Mellow Yellow. Nice, good one.
Nice. Anyway, so what are we actually talking about today? We're obviously talking about results, and spoilers, there's a bit of yellow. I'm taking it, right?
A little bit. I mean, in areas where the meta is probably good and healthy and not run by Tempest Pink White Control. Cough, cough!
You're very upset about this.
A certain
Only one person ran it
traitor to the hive.
across all of the events. It's great.
I mean, sure.
All right.
I mean, I would have run it if I hadn't wanted to do like something else for a change.
Who needs change?
So what we're going to do today is take a look at the winning deck from each of these events. While we wish we had more time to cover all of the decks that were there, that would take literal hours, and Slogfest is kind of a once-a-year type thing, not an every 3 months type thing.
It's nice having store champs every 3 months again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will be reviewing the top deck, talking very briefly about the format that was there and what we saw. And then we're going to go into a couple changes or a couple bits of information regarding game curation. And for those of you who have asked, game curation just means anything going on with the rules, tournament floor rules, comp rules, ban lists, anything like that.
Yeah. And occasionally it's just little benign things like going through and curing cases of Fluttershy-itis.
Right. So with that, let's dive into store champs. I think we're going chronologically oldest to newest.
Yes, what we believe is chronological.
As close as we can get.
No promises. All right. Yeah. First up, we've got the Omaha Store Championships, which was taken by this deck right here. Let's see. What format was this? That's obviously not Pauper because there's a rare in here.
This
Go out on
looks
a
like
limb
a
and
core legal deck.
Yeah, Werefrog does confirm this is core in chat.
All right. So let's see. We got to say Nurturing Nature blue.
Mm-hmm. Little tiny bit light on the blue, but that's just probably because they didn't need a whole lot. I mean, you take a look here, you've got Cloud Chaser and Flitter 2 on the team, you've got CC and Flitter Philly Racers, you've got some loyal ponies from movement. Yeah,
Do you really need anything else?
probably not a whole lot.
Well, it would be nice to get a little bit more entry here, but
And there's 8, 9 entry.
yeah.
Flim
That's
and Flam
fair.
as well.
Yeah, Flim and Flam is better here than Potagium because it would enable you to do a opening confront of lacking lesson plans where Potagium would not unless you had it be the same color.
Correct. And of course we see a card that I'm sure we will continue to see a lot of across many of these decks.
Celestia.
In full 3, yes.
Gummy.
No.
Rack of Gummy, Rack of Day Shift, Rack of Stick.
There's only 2 stick.
And only 2 bunyips.
I think the one cool thing, especially about this deck, isn't even in the draw deck, it's in the problem deck. You can see that the Werefrog was clearly going for a deck where he could afford to lose any face-off, and it wasn't going to cost him significantly in terms of points. So we see a bunch of 0 and 1 bonus problems and absolutely no 2 bonus problems.
And no 3 bonus problems.
And no 3 bonus problems.
But we'll talk about that one later.
Yes.
I'm a little surprised at too many Fluttershies, but
I think that does enable some additional movement, though, which is not
it
bad.
does, but it's still 8.
But it's 9 for your opponent.
Yeah.
You're going to force your opponent to significantly commit to confronting that problem.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying.
Yeah, but we've got Cloud Chaser and Flitter here for some Anthem type effects, boosting a lot of the power of these other smaller characters. It would have been kind of nice to see Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy as well, since there are a decent number of Pegasi here. But I suppose that would have also turned off Cloud Chaser and Flitter 2 on a team, so we've got kind of a conga line thing going on. Also Yona.
Yeah.
Yak
I hate
Yak
Yona.
Smash.
Cooling
Yona.
Yak.
Yona's
evil.
Yona is perfectly fine.
I mean, Yona is best student, but
that is absolutely
Oh.
not true, but the card is good.
Hold on there.
Gallus is best student.
Lies.
Both of you were wrong.
Silverstream.
Yarp.
Outvoted 2 to 1 to 1. Honk.
All right. Anything else to say about this?
I like the EEA councils. Those are kind of spicy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little
Decent. Go ahead.
I'm a little curious as to what those were defending against, but
I mean, if he's just going for confronts, he wants to be sure that his opponent isn't going to be able to stop him in that regard, and that's a good way to do it.
sure, but it also shuts off his own unsatisfactory works.
But that's the only thing it shuts off.
Fair. Fair. Okay. Cool. What do we got next?
Next, I think we've got Moscow. Okay, there we go. There's a song we can sing.
Eh,
I almost started. I had to hold back.
I know.
I was thinking it. I will freely admit this.
This looks like a blast from the past.
Sure
It's like
is.
a lot of troublemakers.
I don't think it's nearly enough troublemakers.
I don't think there's enough Trixie in here.
But there's a lot of Twilight.
There's 3 Trixies.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a decent number of Trixies.
That's not enough Trixie.
Are there really only 3?
There are only 3.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we got us a mono purple farm deck.
This is, spoilers by the way, not the only mono purple farm that we're going to see.
No, it is not.
Turns out that Twilight is, pretty good. Especially when your opponent is likely packing all kinds of ways to deal with friends and many fewer ways to actually deal with your main.
And basically just your main. It is actually just the main, isn't it?
Uh-huh. There is
Wow.
not a friend to be found anywhere in this entire deck.
Twilight
True,
OP.
true antisocial farming.
Because all you need is your main.
I mean, we've seen similar decks to this pop up before, but what we can do every time it happens is look at what the newer cards are, right?
Yep. Okay. What do we got here?
Well,
Okay.
Dramatic Entrance.
Dramatic Entrance, Grogar, Crown of the Sibling Supreme.
Correct. As well as Buckball Strategy.
Yeah.
The Werefrog asks, can this main even flip without staff? Yes, Twilight is not on Confront, she is on Winning a Face-Off, and you will note the 3 copies of Team Effort and Straighten Up and Fly Right, as well as the 2 copies of Dramatic Entrance.
It's your entry, basically.
And the stick.
And the stick. But he
Yeah.
asked without the stick.
And if... let's see. I think there's a way that you can probably get her up to enough power to play an SSR before she's flipped.
I'm sitting here counting the flip average. It's very high.
Yeah, we have to take this over into a regular pony-headed view to see what this is. But yeah, this has to
It's like
be...
5.1 something.
That is disgusting.
4.98.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I might have been looking at the other list.
So you figure if you manage to get a King Sombra or a Lord Tyrek, or even a Grogar in your opening hand, since now you can find either of those, your Twilight is going up 2 versus 5, but you're almost guaranteed to flip around a 4 or a 5. If you have 1 extra flip card in your hand, you're in great shape.
And then you flip 2 3s and you're like, sad.
Womp womp.
Variance happens sometimes.
Yep. Of course, the key here is that Starsword Research with Twilight is really dumb, because you get to put it back into your hand instead of putting it on the bottom of your deck, because it's an event that you flip for the face-off, so you actually never run out of them.
That's dumb.
Which is probably why there's only 2 of them here.
Correct. So, fun to see a deck like this come back.
I might have to build a copy of this. This looks disgusting. I want to do...
Werefrog says, can you play Spike after flipping Twilight? You can play Spike even before you flip Twilight, because it only has 2 rec, and you're likely starting with Buckball Strategy. Either that or Social Obligations. And yes.
Because you defeat the troublemaker before you win a face-off, I think.
No, reverse that. You win the face-off.
You do win the face-off first.
And then the consequences of that, yes.
So yeah, you'll flip first.
Mm-hmm. So yes, that will be fine. Okay.
Nice.
Next one.
Okay. Let's see. What do we got going here? Over to
More
Richmond,
Fluttershy.
Where's that?
Virginia.
Where's that?
Hey, I know this list.
It's different by exactly 1 card.
You have no EEA council.
Yep, I opted to go for a motivational speech instead.
To hit the white wreck on surprise summoning?
Or just to get whatever I needed at the time. I think the one time I got it, it was for white, though.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that this deck only runs 1 Meadowbrook.
Doesn't need to run more.
And yet I somehow got it in
Does
2
it?
of my 3 games. I mean, not really. At least I don't feel like I needed it more than 1.
Well, we'll have to look at some other metas where this deck was played and see how those players feel about it. Let's test our knowledge and see what we've learned so far.
Well,
What color are the unicorns?
Yellow.
White.
Purple. Where are they dancing?
On your face.
Correct.
Everywhere.
Please use one word to describe the sensation of playing against their lockdown control. It is not smiles.
I can't say that word on stream.
It is not smiles.
They said I'm not allowed to say that word on stream.
Oh,
Correct.
I did not have to deal with hard control, and I was fine.
Clearly.
I mean, yes.
I sense some bitterness here.
He's bitter.
There's a little bit of bitterness.
He knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Have we talked about this deck before on stream? I think we have.
I think we've mentioned it enough. You play dilemmas, you confront like 4 or 5 problems a turn, you win fast.
Seems good.
Get tons of power off of Pegasus Royal Guard and Crit Acquire, boosting everything.
Crit Acquire is dumb.
Day Shift
Whammy.
is dumb.
Whammying Crit Acquire is also dumb.
Whammying Crit Acquire is the best.
Or Guilty Delicious.
It's like 2 day shifts, 2 Royal Guards in play. You play like 4 dilemmas, and it's like, how do I keep track of all of this?
You have to do the
Game
meme
state.
thing though. You have to slide the problems to the side.
Do I still have that somewhere? I might still have that somewhere. Hold on.
If we bring it up later, we can. Anyway, let's go to the next one for now.
Like
Oh, hey, look.
I might actually have like had that loaded.
Oh, did you?
No.
Oh.
It's very close though. I just needed to go find the right one. Anyway.
Oh, hey, it's that one thing.
I'm still sighing.
I sense some bitterness.
My favorite part about this deck is it doesn't actually look that much different from the state it was before LNL.
Well,
It's really not.
Significantly
no,
different.
it does
though.
look different. You know
The
why it looks
problem
different?
deck is 100% different.
Okay, that's fair. The problem deck is very different. Now, the Werefrog brings up an interesting comment here, and I expected to see this, and Cheese, you probably did as well. The question of how is Old Money still not banned? On the list of cards that are frustrating to play against in this deck, I don't even think Old Money is in the top 2.
Let me guess. Fireworks and Selena? And Grogar?
Those are definitely the top 2. Mimics is also very frustrating.
Mimics is great.
Oh, and then there's Grubber over there. It's fine.
I mean, Grubber is frustrating, yes.
And then there's High Alert. You know what? I think you're right. Like, Old Money's annoying, but look at all this other annoying crap in here.
It turns out when you don't have Interdimensional Portal in a meta, then Old Money is a card that still generates a ton of value, but is a lot less threatening than it was when it could enter play at immediate speed.
So there's one card in here that I never played across the tournament, and that
School
was
Shutdown?
School Shutdown.
Yeah.
It just feels so bad, particularly that there's no misfire.
Right.
You can't actually use it to cause any real damage.
Yeah. Most time I look at my opponent's discard pile, I'm like, no, I'm good. I still got tools.
It is actually kind of amusing to me how Fireworks has become not only a card that is playable in core, but a card that is almost essential to be played in these colors in core because of the prevalence of so many high token decks.
Yeah, it's so great when your opponent's like, oh, look, I have 20 tokens. And you're like, haha, no, you don't.
And now you have 0.
And then all the usual shenanigans with getting to scare things with Grogar at Fireworks.
Selena was always a card that was frustrating to deal with previously. At least now it's not as bad because you can't just flip Tempest and then turn 2 have the wreck to play Selena. It is, however, made more challenging by the fact that same-day delivery means that Selena not only gives you obscene card advantage, but also gives you AT advantage.
It's just 2 AT generators. Sorry, 6 AT generators. It's like it was before.
But it's not. Because same-day delivery is not consumed when you use it. And you've also got that Meticulous 2 sitting over there on Old Money that you never remember.
I mean, yeah.
At least it doesn't
I
say
think that
Inspire.
this is worse than having. I would rather still have what's it called? Paper Twy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But Paper Twy was also stupid because it gave you even more Meticulous. Also, if you're running Paper Twy and you've got Meticulous, why not run same day delivery?
Why not both?
Right.
Yeah.
The problem deck, however, does make this a little more fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have
No
trading.
blackmail.
No trading traditions.
Yep, no blackmail, no trading traditions, no on the case.
No, what was the other one? Trouble with Trixie?
Yeah.
Entrance exam.
Yeah. Ouch.
It also ran Trouble Trixie.
I mean, sure. But,
So.
yeah, yikes. Slowed
I
down
don't
a
think
little
I
bit.
ever actually put a counter on recipe research.
At that point, you were probably mismanning for the win.
I don't know if
All
it
right.
ever even came out. But yeah.
So there you go. There's the current iteration of Tempest Pink White. For now.
For now.
Subject to change.
We'll see.
I'm
All right.
looking real hard at a couple of those.
All right, what do we got next? Central Illinois?
Yeah, I believe they had 2 events.
Okay.
This deck looks quite familiar.
This deck does look real familiar.
This is the one that has 5.1 something.
Yeah, because it has Nightmare Moons in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! There we go.
A third dramatic entrance as well. Only 1 King Sombra. Rest of it looks about the same.
Card counts might be a little different, but overall, same idea. Twilight drops big bombs.
Yep.
Yep, being able to find a particular troublemaker at any given point in time can also be very nice. So, Grogar is a decent inclusion.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure if I like the Nightmare Moons or not, but
I don't like Nightmare Moon because she gets rid of her hand, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
so
I don't
obviously
like
it's
it in
good.
any deck.
Yeah, but it might hurt. It might hurt your opponent more.
It's hard to see that really happening here, but maybe.
I mean, look at all the stuff in here that's events. Like, as long as you're flipping, you're still drawing. Effectively.
I would play a Nightmare Moon or find a Nightmare Moon with Grogar in this deck if my Twilight was already flipped.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I think that is the moment when you play Nightmare Moon.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19, 11, 12, 13, 14. Only 15 troublemakers. Pretty light.
Feathers does not approve.
Not 21.
Nope.
Next list.
Okay. Another store championships, also in Central Illinois.
This looks aggro-y.
I believe this is Popper.
This is Popper, and this is Pookum.
Sure is. Another one of your friends enters play here. You may exhaust this card to exhaust an opposing character. Okay, so that's the bond. That's the Sweetie drops. Sorry, not Bon. What do we have for exhaustion? Sweetie drops. AJ. Bailout.
Oh god, that isn't a rare.
What breakdown?
No, bailout. I keep forgetting that that's not a rare.
Nope, it's not. It's good.
For some reason.
Also belly flops and food fights and chest cleaning arounds and follow my leads and the value. And also, hey, look at those 3 troublemakers that have been here forever.
Yeller
Yep.
Parasprite.
That's it.
They're so dumb.
They're pretty dumb.
Still win games.
11 sets later, still winning games.
I like the inclusion of Red Delicious here, just like, yeah, I need a big body.
He's huge. I mean, it is valuable, especially when you get to a point where it's just like, okay, I pay 2 to move and confront. Just any problem, don't worry about it.
Basically.
I've decided I'm tired of playing this exhaust game. I'm just going to play Big Orange until I win.
Does this deck have 0 L cards?
Oh, hold on. There is something very cool that we have to point out here. There are 3 follow my leads in this deck. There are 0 ways to play them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're for discarding.
That's it. It's for discarding and movement, and they're just there for the Apple Bloom Remarkables.
And bailout.
And bailouts, yes.
Let's see. Werefrog asks if there's a rule that Sweetie Drops and Bonbon are the same name. No, they're not. They're different ponies. Don't know anything about those two. They're clearly different ponies.
Yep.
The follow my leads could also be used. Oh wait, is Yellow Parasprite, that only affects the opponent, right?
Correct.
No, sorry, yes.
Yeah, I was mixing it with Nightmare Moon. Never mind.
Look, there's bound to be a few cutie marks that are similar in the world, okay? There's a lot of ponies out there. You can't just go telling 2 ponies that they look alike because they both happen to be Earth ponies. That's
Hey.
racist.
Because they're both purple unicorns.
Hers is really more of a shimmer. Glimmer. Whatever.
At least Sunset Shimmer is yellow.
Ish.
Sure, ish.
This is where I'd really love to be like, she's not if you're this kind of colorblind.
Okay. Next deck.
Next deck.
Okay. Let's see. Moving on to Wisconsin.
Hey, look.
This looks real familiar.
There's some day shifts and some Yonas
And some yellow.
and
There's
some
the gummies.
Bunyips.
And gummies. And sticks.
And Meadowbrooks, yeah.
The Raptor Razor is cute.
This is from Tim out in Wisconsin, who I believe was one of the first individuals to find serious competitive success with mono yellow back before it really took off in like Defenders.
Yeah, I think he's been running a variant of this for the past 2 years?
Yeah, basically.
He's got his down pat.
Yeah, grats on another excellent finish with this. I mean, what do you want to say about the deck? There's adoption options in here allows you to find Bunyip, Brian, and Gummy. Those are the only 3 cards it will allow you to find, but I mean, then you have one of each of those.
Do you need it to find anything else?
No.
Okay, then.
I mean, at that point, you're really just finding Bunyip.
I mean, you're also finding Brian. Brian's important.
No, Brian's are 100% important. That keeps your stuff from going away.
Yeah.
Mm.
And here we see kind of the more traditional options on Nurturing Nature as far as problems are concerned, where it's a monocolor deck, so you're just running the lowest confront requirements possible. Saying, I'm going to face off as much as possible, really not because you want to win the face-off, but because you want to be confronting 2 problems every turn as quickly as possible.
Except Distracted Lead Actress, because people rely on people misunderstanding that card.
Because, no, that card's just legitimately annoying.
It is, but I also think that, like,
people mess it up.
At least 50% of the failure to confronts are, oops, I didn't read the card right.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. How often does this start with Buckball?
Anytime the main isn't Tempest.
Look how many 2 rec friends there are.
I mean, starting with Buckball means you can play a Day Shift on turn 2 to confront. That's really hard to say no to.
You can play 2 day shifts.
Yeah,
or
like
a day
I did.
shift
That was
and
great.
I did that too.
yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Okay,
Or a
all
day
right.
shift and a kind pony, or a day shift and Heal Out Citizens. Or a day shift and a Yona.
Or you can-
Sorry, yes, you could.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, ew. Ew. Oh, that's...
Day shift into Yona, bounce your Starlight Glimmer.
Ugh.
This deck can't, like, if it has to start with lacking lesson plans, it has 1 entry.
It has the gummies as well.
Technically.
And
Yeah,
stick.
if you can get the gummies in, sure, we can count those.
And it has stick,
I
yes.
guess you can count stick.
Yeah.
It has enough.
I think that was maybe the only thing that I think I'd even like to see in here as a potagium or something to help
I mean,
shore that situation up. But
technically, it's 9 entry if you think about it like that, because
Yeah.
Gummy is enough to get you into most other things. So is Fluttershy, and so is Staff. So, like,
all right.
It's a decent number.
It
You
wouldn't be the
also run
most
the thing
ideal
of
start, but
you also run the thing of if you're starting lacking lesson plans and you manage to keep a Gummy, even if your opponent takes your other entry with like a Grubber if they're playing Tempest, then you get to potentially move your main and on a subsequent turn drop a Raptor Razor off that wreck, and then your wreck problems are solved.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yay mono yellow.
Whoa.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Aren't we all so excited about it?
I'm okay with mono yellow. Mono yellow is fun to play.
Mm,
Yay.
Ready for some mono, not yellow?
yeah, what you got?
Mono blue.
We're going over to Seattle here.
I know this
Wait,
deck.
Seattle.
This is not mono
Oh,
blue.
sorry. That's the next one. I skipped forward too far.
Yeah, good job.
This is the opposite of mono.
This
This
is
is.
mono. That's boring.
How about all 6 colors?
Sounds good.
6-color good stuff.
On the
dot tech.
kittens and the In My Head Like a Catchy Song.
And the Queen
And-
Chrysalis, Evil
Yes,
Twin.
and the Queen Chrysalis.
And the just all of the cards that if you see them, you're just like, wow, that card's annoying.
Isn't the name of this deck actually 6-color good stuff? Dot deck?
No, the name of this deck is Oops, More Bombs, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he called it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe that's correct. Yeah. Yeah, they, every card in here just,
Okay, so it lost Queen Chrysalis as a main, which is frustrating, and it also lost redeeming qualities, which hurts. But let's look at what it gained. Queen Chrysalis, the colorless friend, High Alert, In My Head Like a Catchy Song, Golden Parachute.
I would just like to stop for a moment here and say how absolutely disgusting golden parachutes are with this deck.
Oh, Golden Parachutes are amazing with this
Okay.
deck.
I'm running Mosh Pit Unchained against this, right? So I've got Pinky. I have to discard 5 things to take a shot at Luna. And then this player is just like, no. And then 5 more things to take another shot at Luna. And again, no. Disgusting.
Yeah, forgetting to check your opponent's discard pile to see if they have a Golden Parachute will be the undoing of 20 cards in your deck.
Yes.
15?
Assuming there are 2 Golden Parachutes.
Sure.
But yes. What else? Oh, this is now in core post-rotation, which means old money is back, so I mean that's a target. Rainbow Generator helps you get the wreck for In My Head Like a Catchy Song. And Student 6. When all else fails and you're like, I wonder if I should be confronting this turn, or I wonder if I should stop my opponent from confronting this turn, don't sweat it. You'll just drop a 5-drop Alicorn for free. It'll be great.
Disgusting.
It's great.
Oh, and then when you think you're going to do something, it comes out and plays a High Alert, and you're just like...
Now, this is the
Yes,
spicy
I'm
thing to
not.
me. Check the number of reanimation tools in this deck. There are only 2 Orchard Blossoms.
Those
I mean, there's also the In My Head Like a Catchy Song.
I mean, sure. Okay, he says he wants it to have an extra Luna, an extra Orchard Blossom, and an extra Meadowbrook. That's fair. Reanimator's back? Oops, All Bombs is
What?
still here?
What do you mean back? It hasn't left.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Next deck.
All right. Now with the mono blue.
Yes.
I think this one wins our distance award. This comes all the way from Manila in the Philippines. Literally the other side of the world.
Is that really farther than Russia? Well, because
Mhm.
it's Moscow.
I see some old school conga lining. See some thunder lanes.
Just blue value.
Blue
All the
value.
blue. All the value.
A lot
Burst
of
of
movement.
speed into Thunder Lane.
Burst of speed into thunder lane is always fun. I see 3 copies of Hufar in here. That's a lot of blue.
That is, in fact, a lot of blue.
I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that some of the card choices in here may be selected due to card availability.
Possibly. I mean,
But
it's a little weird only seeing one Thunder Lane.
or 1 Night Glider or
Yeah.
1 2 bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Scootaloo, you can get a lot of movement.
Oh.
Scootaloo and Hufar. Ugh.
Oh,
Gross.
That seems fine.
it seems it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That seems
It's
gross.
just like 2 power.
No, okay. So, Hufar into where'd that go?
Hufar into Hufar.
Yeah, into Ever Vigilant with a ton of conga line shenanigans, and then a DFO, into Scootaloo. And
No, hold on. A DFO into to Griffinstone.
into Scootaloo.
I mean, I
Yeah.
still want to see someone pull off Hufar Thunder Lane with a counter on Thunder Lane.
You don't even need a counter on Thunderlane. You can just pay 2 to move Thunderlane.
Sure.
The Werefrog, that is
Infinite
exactly
power.
that's exactly what he's referring to. At that point, Thunderlane will get to infinite power counters. Unlimited power. And then he eats a pumpkin.
It's his tradition.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Next deck.
Spicy.
This is not Pythons.
This is not Pythons. Skitter was piloting this, and
That's a lot of dilemmas.
oops, all dilemmas.
Oh, this is Harmony.
This is Harmony. This is in fact Harmony.
Is this Harmony Popper?
No,
No, there's
EA.
rares.
Look at all the rares.
Yeah. I'm a little confused by this deck, but
Well, let me tell you how this deck works. Skitter sits there and just kind of dirtles for about, until someone gets above 8 points. And then he plays 15 dilemmas and you lose.
I mean, EA Council will do that.
but it doesn't even have how's he getting all the friends up to the problems?
I would like to draw your attention to a card named Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, you may put you get to put 1 critter friend in play, and I guess
Critter
you have
Choir.
Conductor's Baton
And
Professor
Fluttershy.
Kindness.
Yes. And the boost from Critter Choir as well.
And then he confronts 15 problems and then you lose. There are pictures of the middle of the table, just a pile of dilemmas, no ordering, just there's some dilemmas here.
Yeah.
I would worry about discarding too many dilemmas before I got to the AT required to play them.
But they're all free.
They are all free.
How does this deck cause a problem face-off?
It doesn't. That's why it runs backup vocals.
Oh, okay. Just yeah. Oh, yeah. You can start with Buckball, and then if there is a face-off, then you flip. Otherwise, you can just backup vocals.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
silly.
This is silly. It's also really, really effective.
Just play a stack of suitcases.
Yeah. It's very ironic that one of Skitter's
Play
other
mimics.
decks would have just shut this thing down.
This also does not have great answers to mimics.
But you know what? Nobody was running Jerkface, or Stack, or Spoons, or...
Or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that you're just able to play the meta right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Discords are a curious choice here.
Probably just entry.
Yeah, but that's the entry you choose? I guess because they have experienced, and so you can technically hit the 3 on delaying tactics. Also, that's a delaying tactics, that's not a surprise summoning.
Surprise summoning costs 2.
Yeah, delaying tactics is free. Surprise summoning isn't. This is a one-turn kill deck. He's not gonna have anything in his discard that he's gonna want back.
Grumbling, grumbling, grumbling. All right. Next list.
All right. And to bring it home, back to Vancouver. Oops, it still bombs.
Oops, it's still bombs, and it's technically cheating.
Hey, that's an old money.
We think that this was an error in deck list transcription.
From what we heard, the single copy of Old Money in this deck was never played, drawn, or flipped in any game.
It's Harmony, and Old Money is still banned in Harmony.
Yeah.
That aside, it's still Reanimator, and it's still stupid good.
And it still gets to run Golden Parachute now.
Disgusting.
So good! It's a good card.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, this has some nice tools in it now, doesn't it? Ooh,
You get the Chrysalis as well if you get to discard that way, and if your opponent's main flips, and you've got your color rec online for the Orchard Blossoms and redeeming qualities, and Golden Parachute for that matter. Get the Apple Bloom. Tasty. Tasty. So I'm going to play Apple Bloom, discarding Cadence to play Chrysalis on turn 2 and have 1 AT left over to banish Cadence, so I have Cadence on turn 2. Your turn.
That's terrible.
That seems fine.
Is Cadence really the biggest?
On turn 2? Yes!
Yeah,
Your friends
alright.
cost.
No, not your friends. All your events cost 2 more. Every time you play a card, I draw a card.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
you get more
disgusting.
discard out of that. Discard your good stuff.
Yeah. And the bailouts as well, to deal with the farm. Yep. It's a good deck.
Disgusting. All right, I think that's it.
Did Davis not get reported?
No, Davis did not have its deck lists.
Yes.
It was pop. Purple, Tempest Blue, Control 1.
14 AT generators.
Where's your list, actually? You can just link it.
It's right here.
Here, give me.
I mean, there. This was the Popper winner from Davis. We'll see if we can get this up. Trying to say you only had 12 AT generators, and I was sitting there looking at your cards like, no, you've got more than that. You have 13.
No. Oh, it is 13. Yeah.
Because you weren't counting Storm King.
Correct.
Storm King is 100% an AT generator in this deck.
This
Do you want to
deck-
give some background on why you built this color combination?
I wanted to play Twilight and Spike, and then 30 minutes before I left, I was like, oh crap, I need to build the deck. So I clicked a bunch of cards and was like, you know what's good? AT.
We're just going to throw all this stuff in here and it'll probably be okay.
You know what this deck is missing? Resource removal.
You know what
Bad cheese.
You know what didn't matter?
Resource removal. Yeah, so resource removal in Pauper is, I think it's still important, but it is less so.
Yeah.
Like, there were resources that could have made me very sad, and it would have been nice to be able to remove people's entry. But,
You'd rather just get more AT instead.
well, I built the deck in 30 minutes. I forgot about resource removal.
Yeah, you decide, and it turned out that you just needed more AT.
Yeah.
All right. I think that covers the deck list that we have had reported so far. There have been a few other international events that had successful tournaments, but did not send over full deck lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have a store in the UK that ran, and also a store in Germany. Let's see. The store in Germany says a control deck mained by DJ Pone3 took their first place. Unfortunately, we do not currently have a deck list for that.
Yeah.
It's like Vinyl's good.
Yep.
I'd like to see another vinyl control deck.
I think it was interesting we saw more Tempest in Harmony first place, or I'm sorry, more Twilight in Harmony first place than we did Vinyl this time around.
Well, I mean, if you're going to build a purple farming deck,
It's a heck of a way to do it, right?
yeah. I mean, what else are you going to do? Run, like, Vinyl Pile or something?
Yeah.
Of course you would. Dirty
Okay.
players.
So, with that all being said, we saw a couple trends across those decks. We saw farm and good value cards are still present in Harmony. We saw yellow is incredibly dominant in core right now. And we saw that there are several types of decks that, if you are unprepared for them, or if your deck does not include a particular answer for them, the game can be rather one-sided. This is nothing new. We've had decks in the past, combo or otherwise, where if your deck does not include particular tools to deal with a wide variety of the field, well, you might not have the most interactive game possible. Who remembers AJ Farm?
It was only fun if you were running it.
Or if you were countering with purple movement.
Had a direct counter to it.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you were running single-minded aggro and neglected to include cards to disrupt opposing aggro, and they happen to have a faster start, you were just kind of stuck.
I mean, shin kicking was fun, right?
I mean, kind
Right?
of.
In certain circumstances.
Where this becomes really difficult and a problem in general is when there is a particular matchup that is so lopsided that one player effectively is not even playing the game, or doesn't really stand a competitive chance of being able to do anything meaningful. All of us have been in that situation at one point or another, even everyone who's here on stream right now. It sucks.
But Grandpa's, whatever shall we do?
I don't know, Aura, whatever shall we do?
I don't know. How about I click this button here?
Okay, why don't you click this button?
So I click
We're
the button.
removing points from the game.
And replacing
Replacing
them with prizes.
Yes, replacing them with prizes.
Now everyone will run farming and staff because it's all about winning face-offs. Points don't matter, problems are irrelevant, just win face-offs.
Pull the lever, Kronk, wrong lever.
Right. In all seriousness, there's been something that's been requested by players for quite some time. And it's taken a bit of testing for us to understand how they work, how they will change the face of the game, and whether or not they are a good addition. And we have come to the conclusion that yes, this upcoming change is going to be beneficial overall. And that change is
Sideboards.
Sideboards. But Aura, I thought sideboards were for multi-game matches. What about when I'm playing single-game matches? How am I supposed to sideboard?
Well,
Guess.
yeah, let's go with guess, but here, because you have to put out a pair of cards, your main in a starting problem, you can get a pretty good idea of what your opponents might be up to. You know, if you see, I don't know, the Traitor to the Hive and the Searching High and Low, well, I think we know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who have not played in a collectible card game that uses sideboards before, sideboards are basically extra cards that you can use to alter your deck based on the particular game that you are playing at that point in time. Normally, sideboards are used in games where you'll play multiple games inside a single match. But Pony isn't changing that. Pony's going to stick with single game matches for most tournaments and for all of its Swiss for now.
We're going to need to make the game go a lot faster before we can consider doing that.
Right. So the way this is going to function is that each player will effectively have a sideboard deck of a maximum of 5 card slots. And during game setup, after each player has revealed their main and their selected starting problem, you will have 3 minutes to make any changes to your deck using cards from your draw deck and your sideboard. What kind of cards can I include in my sideboard?
Any draw deck card. So not mains or problems, but troublemakers, friends, events, and resources.
Correct. And Werefrog, while that was an old rule for MTG, it hasn't been a current rule for about the last 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So when you are sideboarding in MLP, you are able to move cards from your sideboard into your draw deck, from your draw deck into your sideboard deck, or exchange them between each other, provided that you continue to meet the deck requirements and restrictions that are set by the game. Meaning, you must have at least 45 cards minimum in your draw deck. You may have no more than 5 cards in your sideboard deck at any point in time. And you may not have more than 3 copies of any single card shared between those decks. Pukwudgie being the exception.
Pursuant to normal deck building rules.
So what does this do? Other than add 3 minutes or find a purpose for those 3 minutes at the beginning of all the game setups?
What, other than like shuffling and other stuff like that?
Yeah, like why are we doing this? What is the point in all of this?
Because I get real sick of Tempest and Grubber. But I don't want to run Fire of Friendship all the time.
Okay.
I want an answer to farm.
Okay.
I want to be able to protect my Fluttershy and have more than one EEA council.
Also okay.
But only against some decks.
I don't want to have to run untested magic fireworks if my opponent's not going to be making a bunch of tokens.
Yes, 5 cards total, not 3 ofs.
Right. So sideboarding will allow players to either have cards that they choose to swap in, or just run a larger deck and take up to 5 cards out of their draw deck based on what they don't think they're going to need. It doesn't really matter how you orient this so long as there are no more than 5 cards in your sideboard and you still have the 45 card minimum.
Yeah. Because it is also perfectly legal to sit here and decide that, oh, my opponent's running a mill deck. I think I would prefer to have 5 more cards just to give myself a little extra buffer. That's also perfectly fine.
And I'm sure if we sat here and thought about it for a while, we'd think of several cards that we know would be valuable in certain matchups, but ones that we wouldn't want to run all of the time.
I mean,
like
Novo,
or Sonambula's Blindfold.
ooh, spicy.
Or both together.
Or both of them together.
I mean, Diamond Song would care to disagree on that one, but...
Or the Flash Magnus from Leaders and Legends that cares if your opponent has stolen one of your friends.
Now, 5 slots is not very much. You're not going to be able to answer everything with just 5 slots.
Right. But it gives you a chance to pack some answers to decks that you know are going to give you trouble, but that you really don't want to just have those answers for everything else. After all, going from 45 to 46 is a 1% difference in your probability to draw things. And although that doesn't sound like a lot, it adds up over a lot of draws.
Mm-hmm. Just being able to have additional options should mean that if players choose to take advantage of their sideboards...
And you don't have to, by the way.
You don't have to. Sideboarding is optional. But if you choose to take advantage of your sideboard, it should be less likely that you will end up in a completely blowout match where one player does not have meaningful ways to interact with the other. The Werefrog asks, when is this taking effect?
As per our usual method, these will be taking effect approximately 4 weeks from now, which is April 5th. I believe that is too late for Windy City. However, I don't know.
I suppose if Windy City wanted to try this early...
I don't see a problem with that, as long as it is properly announced.
Mm-hmm. But this will mean that the sideboard rules will be active for BabsCon, for both the core and Harmony tournaments. The sideboard rules apply no matter what format you are playing in.
Well, with a tiny asterisk for Limited, but that's because Limited is like, none of this matters anyway, because you can change your deck with your Limited pool whenever you want.
Well,
you know, between games.
It matters if you can change it after seeing your opponent's main and starting problem.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly swap out the entire deck.
Just run a completely different deck.
I've been in Limited games where that was a possibility.
Yeah, it's happened.
We had enough cards of the right kind that it's like, well, I could run this deck or that deck.
Now, we know that this is something that players have asked for a while, or has at least been discussed for a while, and the data we've collected on this so far makes it seem like it is overall a good addition to the game. But we would also appreciate any specific feedback that you or your groups happen to have relating to this sideboard rule. Please feel free to reach out to Commentary is Magic on Facebook, on email, on Discord, Reddit, wherever it happens to be. And
we'll link all those in a moment.
Yeah.
But feedback. We loves it.
Yes.
Almost as much as hissing at people.
Also, we're banning like 30 cards.
Nah, don't. Stop.
No,
No.
no bans.
Stop it.
Every card in those first place decks are now banned.
It's the Silver Spanner rules. Sounds great.
Stop it.
Mixing up the meta.
That's not just going to mix the meta up.
Hope no one wanted to play Fire of Friendship
Yeah,
or Day Shift.
Get out. Don't even joke about that.
All right. Yeah. Having a broader sideboard in a game that uses multi-game matches is more important, Werefrog. When we are dealing with single games, we don't want there to be too much analysis paralysis. 5 cards has shown to be a decent enough number to make an impact on the games without dramatically slowing them down. And without giving you perfect answers every time.
Yeah.
With all of that said, though, I think that's about going to wrap up our discussion for today.
Yep. I think that's been over quite a bit of interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. We would, of course, like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. And if you aren't currently a patron but you enjoy what we do, please consider donating, as doing so does enable us to continue making content like this. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, please do. There are many ways you can stay in contact with us. We have our Patreon, as mentioned previously, but you can also reach us through Facebook, Twitter, and email. And patrons at or above the $5 per month level also get access to our Slack channel where you can chat live with us any day, any time.
My sleep schedule is basically inverted right now. I have regrets.
Regrets.
I never had one to begin with.
A sleep schedule or a regret?
Both.
Seems good. If you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel linked in the sidebar, and please make sure to subscribe so we can have a channel URL that is easier to remember. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary as Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Bigcheese.
Arcat and
Something about Thorax and Silver Stream and all of the ponies that you either love and or hate.
There we go. Wash your
Ivory
hands.
Starlight.
Wash your hooves, every pony.
wash your hooves.
Wash your hooves.
Sorry about the regurt. I was eating a Milky Way.
What?
That's what the Werefrog is referencing. It was a Milky Way commercial where someone gets a tattoo of no regrets, but the tattoo artist accidentally writes regrets because she was eating a Milky Way.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
No regrets.
I don't really watch TV enough to get commercials anymore, so yeah.
It'd be like that.
But it do.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night, every pony.
Bye-bye.
But